And then I'm like, well, what's it gonna Trident if you don't get away the Apex with it?
Yeah, exactly.
So like we're gonna get the combo pack. So that's like something almost like you can't even buy. So that's what's exciting. And you know what? We released the BRS recommended video yesterday, right?
On the Apex.
On the Apex.
It is recommended, yeah.
One of the things that it said in there, like, or tons of comments, is like, oh man, I love it, but it's like so expensive. Yeah. You know what? Well, I don't know. I felt like, well, why don't we give one for free? Because not everybody can afford it, so let's just give it away for free.
This is a pretty good. This is a pretty good combo pack. I mean, money wise. Oh, so anyway, how do you sign up? How are we giving it away? You got to stay to the end to find out, because there's a couple things we want you to do.
All right, yeah, so at the end of today's video, we're gonna give you the path to winning this thing, and you're gonna only have 360 minutes to be able to do it.
When we open it up, you're gonna have 360 minutes, which is about 6 hours, to go in there and complete the task, get signed up, and do what have you, in order to find out who wins.
Yep. All right, so 360 minutes from starting from an hour, somebody's gonna win a Trident and an Apex.
There's nowhere to go right now, so don't look for it. But at the end of today's episode, at the end of today's live, we'll tell you how to get there.
So for that reference, man, we're kind of tying today's live in with the impromptu lives that we've been doing recently, which is like hit that bell surprise. Like we're kind of getting all these things combined together, trying to do get excited of building a tank in my house. It should be a 360-gallon tank for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
We're trying to make sure everybody doesn't miss that. So there's a little bell next to subscribe on YouTube. Hit it. You know, subscribe doesn't really do much anymore these days.
No, it doesn't.
If you actually want to be notified when stuff comes out, you have to hit the bell. So that's particularly important if there's stuff that comes out like this, right? So we've been giving away, like we're gonna give away $1,000 soon. We're gonna give away over $1,000 today.
$100 to 20 people, a shopping spree type deal, $1,000 shopping spree, like you said. And I mean, this could happen at any moment. At any moment. So Ryan on Sunday came into the office, just decided to go live from his phone, and then gave away some. What was it? We had
it's like 60 buckets of.
Gave
like,
some stuff
the coupon
away.
code went a little strong.
So
went
the only
beyond
way
the 30 it said. So give us 60 buckets of salt.
So the only way you know if this is going to happen, because like I said, it's impromptu. So we might be at Rivapalooza, California, this weekend, doing a live and telling you what you might be able to win. In the next, there's like 6 more of these things, right?
Yeah, 6
like
more.
5 or 6 more impromptu live giveways. Mm-hmm. But if you don't want to miss it, you gotta hit the notification. I just did it. We're subscribed to a few people on YouTube, mm-hmm. and they went live like this morning. And the only way to get notified was we hit the notification bell for them.
All right, so another notification. So before we get to the Amino test results, which I promise you are actually super compelling.
It's really cool.
We sat down today and looked at the before and after. It's like, wow, man.
2 months.
Like, I'll say the suspense. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But we got one other thing to note. Today, normally our lives go and get split out, and they go both to Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
Same stream.
And we're gonna end that today. So from now on, all of the YouTube lives here on Thursday, generally at 3 p.m., are only be YouTube. It's gonna be like our primary episode of lives, and we'll discuss all the stuff we normally do.
Yeah.
And then Facebook, something totally different. Right?
I'll be walking around with my camera and my phone like this, giving you like some background type stuff. What's happening behind the scenes?
A little bit more personal, kind of like one-on-one feel to it, and behind the scenes, a little super nitty-gritty. Some of the more personalities you'll meet and stuff. So the Facebook thing and the YouTube thing are totally different. So if you normally watch this thing, this live on Facebook, you probably want to go to YouTube, sign up, subscribe, hit that bell.
Yep.
And then the opposite, if you are on YouTube and you want to see the even closer, more personal look at stuff, go over to the YouTube account, man, and make sure that you're a fan and you want to get notifications from us or whatever.
Yeah, if you go on Facebook, every time that we go live on Facebook as Bulk Reef Supply, you can find our channel, our website Facebook page, and then just follow us, and then you'll get notifications on Facebook.
All right, last bit here. Somebody's going to win the Neptune Apex and the Trident. At the end of the day's video, we're going to tell you how. And in 360 minutes, somebody's going to be owner. So, I don't know, short time, man, it's
awesome.
going to be racing. This one's a little longer, gave people like a whole 6 hours to see this video exist, but a lot of them are 36 minutes, boom, done, go.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, so I'm just going to explain this experiment that we did. So Behind us was a pH experiment. So it's high pH tanks, low pH tanks, and for those of you who are following, you get to see the results of, you know, what happens if you maintain the pH at 8.3 versus 7.8.
Yeah.
We released those results, and then there was like,
I mean, there was some differences in growth. There was some percentage
I
differences.
think it's like 50, but I had to go back. Yeah.
But you know, I mean, you wouldn't think that. Some people don't think that 7.8 to 8.3 is much of a difference, really, at all. But you know, in the results, it's a lot.
Yeah. So I go watch those things, but that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about is at the end of it, and like, you know, some of these corals in these, like, you know, lab tanks that don't have a ton of fish and whatnot, like, are looking kind of pale, man.
Yeah.
Like, they're not like. We showed the experiment results, but these also aren't the kind of corals that I'd actually want to like keep in my house. You know, like they're just they weren't as attractive as you might like. So like, man, you know, these tanks are already running. So what if we just started feeding them all aminos and see if we can color all of these corals up?
Well, the way, I mean, the way we got to this anyway is we had the 750 XXL and doing the BRS WWC series. WWC had told us that they dose, you know, Brightwell amino acids to their tanks, and so we wanted to try it. We were seeing some similar type, you know, pale colors and stuff in the 750 XXL. So based off of WWC's recommendation, we started dosing Brightwell amino acids to the 750 XXL, and we saw color come out. So that's where we saw the pale corals here. We're like, let's give it a try. Maybe an impromptu investigates type deal.
So that's actually like the first sentence said it was totally impromptu out of Josh at WWC. He's just kind of talking about different corals and stuff he does, whatever. In one of those conversations, he brought up, yeah, if we have like a sick coral, man, the first thing we do is you know, dose aminos to it, which makes total sense in the afterthought. Like you're adding like really easy to absorb and utilize proteins, right? So for those who don't know, amino acids are components of protein. So rather than feeding like a fish or, you know, chunk of meat or whatever that it has to digest and break down into aminos to be able to rebuild it back into its own tissue, you're giving it in its raw form that it can just assemble and utilize.
It's less energy that the coral has to expel to take in the food and the nutrients and the proteins, in which case it can uptake it probably easier.
He spoke with it like with a level of confidence that I hadn't seen before, right? Like, so I see people like, yeah, I dose aminos, they like get good results out of it, whatever, right? Yeah. But he's like, no, yeah, it's sick. You dose aminos and we turn it around. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, really? Like I had a hard time, man, with like that level of confidence. But then we started seeing it. So
anecdotally, we saw it, in like the 750, and
I say we saw it in like 3 anecdotal tanks. Like we dosed it and like, oh man, like things look better. Oh man, things looks better. So in this one, we're like, hey man, this test is already over. And like we're not gonna do it like A/B test and start it all brand new because that'll just like take like 6 months to do. But hey, we got a bunch of pale corals. What happens if we just start dosing amino to 4 separate tanks? Like what happens, and you can see the results, right?
It's pretty compelling.
All right, so let's like bring up, and by the way, there's probably a variety of different aminos out there that work. Some of them are more concentrated than others. I know a lot of people use like the Acro Power one. You know, KZ has some really popular ones.
And then like the Red Sea, you know, trace colors A1 through 4 plus the Reef Energy A and B combo type deal.
So the ones that we're using here are I'll just be frank. The reason that we use the Brightwell Coral Merino is just because the people that grow corals for a living, it's what they use.
It's what they use.
Yeah, so like, well, hey man, like hey, we have nice tanks and stuff, but you guys grow thousands or probably tens of thousands of corals, and like the pros, that's what you use, I'm gonna use that. So we just, you know, tried to use it after that and seen these results. So let's pull up, you know, coral number 1.
Okay, so wait, there's 6 corals here that we're gonna look at. So there's a variety of types of corals in here. I think there was like 7 or 8 total coral varieties in general. So when we look at these ones, we're looking at 2 months ago, right around the beginning of July, to now the beginning of August. So 2 months of dosing amino acids, and you'll see before and after. And they're not exactly the same exact coral. Like coral number 1 isn't the same as after coral, but it's representative across the board. Like all of them look this way.
There's like 100 corals in here.
Yeah, but let's take a look.
All right, number 1. All right, before, as we said, pretty pale.
chalice.
They were growing growth, and we're seeing it, but pretty pale.
I mean, the chalice on the left, the before, looks like all of the chalices I've tried to grow on my own. I get them I get them from, you know, my coral vendor, and then they pale out, and then they start receding, and then they kind of go away. But then on the right, like amino acids, this is the color.
This is what you see in the photo when you buy it.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll just say these are like 2 months apart, right?
Yeah.
And so nobody has photoshopped anything or anything. Nothing was touched up in any fashion. There's probably slightly different settings or whatnot when it was shot from 1 month to 2 months later. But
even looking at you with your naked eye, you can tell the difference.
Yeah, there's no question.
Yeah,
no question at all. So let's see the next one.
Another chalice.
All right. So in this one, you know, not super compelling. You can definitely see the little difference in the color that it was shot, but like it's actually paler because that blue color, I think,
on the left.
Yeah, it was artificially, you know, with the settings of the camera probably turned up. So it's actually paler there than is even depicted. The after, however, you can start to see all the little green polyps so much better.
Yeah,
you can see various different colors in it.
I don't know if we can attribute the growth out onto the egg crate as the amino acids, but really we're just kind of looking at the color here, right?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the reason that looks like a mountain is because we kept putting new coral frags underneath it because it kept growing down to the egg crate.
Yeah.
And finally we gave up, and now it's just growing all over the egg crate. Just because the test was kind of over and we were just doing this one.
Pretty good, small little pancake size.
Yeah, so I don't know. And this one, a little less compelling than the first one, but also, like, if I'm going to pick one of the other ones, man, I'm going the after for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Next one?
Let's try another one. Orange digitata. So it looks like the one on the left was probably a little shaken up before the picture was taken, so maybe that's why the polyps are receded.
No, actually, we looked at like 4 of them, and they all looked like that.
Okay,
actually.
fair enough.
Yeah, so
you got receded polyps back into the skeleton, into the tissue, and then you've got like a obvious pale color. And then on the right, you see the polyps fully extended. Now, I wish we had motion on these, because when these are shot videos, we just took stills of them. And in the one on the right, you can just see the flow hitting those polyps.
All of the polyps.
And it's just flying around.
Yeah, and again, like, these are like just standard shots with your camera, so like they're not the indicative actually the other color, because in person it actually looks way better than that. So even better results when you look at it with the naked eye. All right, next one. I mean, amino acids story is beginning to like just keep telling it. Like
it's the pale and the polyp extension here again. Like you can see the polyp extensions kind of receded on the left, and you're getting these washed out, you know, colors on the left, and then you see these tones and these highlights and this deeper, like, it looks like the tissue is healthy, and you get different color variations. On the right, I'm seeing pinks on the tips and yellows, and then deep greens in the middle, and obviously, to me, a healthier looking coral.
And again, if you corrected to make it look like it looks in person, so much even more compelling in person than it is even here. But again, the amino acids telling the story here. So
2 months difference in all of these. Let's see the next one here. So someone's got like a stag or something, or some acro here, and I mean this one is night and day.
Yeah.
As far as the tissue color here, the darkness, the depth of the color.
Absolutely. So again, man, like you just see when you start adding all the protein into the water in a way that's just super easy to digest, or utilize rather, is it's just showing in the results, man. And like in a way that like anecdotally we were seeing in a variety of other tanks, but now you can kind of see it, you know, before and after in a slightly more controlled application.
Yeah, the only thing that changed during this test, so we went from the pH test where we were just feeding the tanks at a certain amount every day, the exact same across all 4, with the pHs set. The only thing that changed here was we started dosing amino acids to all the tanks. There was no change to the feeding schedule. There's no change really to anything else. So.
All right, let's see the next one. And then we'll close it out.
Last one here.
That part of it, anyway. All right, boom, again, man. Like, again, you can see, like, I think Dave, when he shot this, he even had to, like, turn up the blues to see, like, any color, or, you know, when he was taking the shot.
Yeah.
And you see it in a more normal light, and then, like, all of a sudden, all the color comes out. And so, like, the difference between before and after here is just so dramatic.
Yeah, I agree. The pinks are coming out here, the greens, really those phosphorescent type colors.
And you can just
really
see the tissue health and like thickness of the tissue. And again, the aminos are building blocks of protein in tissue. So not surprised that the tissue looks better and healthier.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
If you rate this one on a Reef Fantasy to Reef Certainty scale, or Reef Certainty to Reef Fantasy scale, like we normally do amino acids help the coral growth and color?
I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna go for an 8 on this one. I mean, there's a couple in here that may or may not, but you know, given the anecdotal that I've seen in the 750 at WWC, all these other places where people I've seen, like Zach's tank, who was doing a different type of amino acids outside of Brightwell, he always had color in his tank, and really vibrant, nice color. And then we're dosing this now too on, you know, the flow test tanks. We're dosing it on the BRS WWC E170 in your office, which is looking awesome. We're dosing this everywhere, and in each one of them, the results are you know, undeniable. So 8, probably swinging towards 9 on the Reef Certainty.
I'm gonna give this a two-prong approach.
Okay.
All right. So first, I'm gonna give it Reef Certainty, Reef Fantasy. I'm gonna give it like a 6. Just slightly more Reef Certainty than Fantasy. The amino acids are gonna help with coloration and growth. And the only reason I say that is because this wasn't a controlled experiment where it was like, you know, 2 examples of A getting fed the aminos, 2 examples of B not using the exact same corals. I created a much more compelling case in that if you're approaching this from like a, you know, scientific point of view. Now, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 if you're asking me what I believe.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So if you're asking me just what I believe, Reef Certainty, Reef Fantasy, dosing the aminos, I've seen it in enough tanks. I've seen it from the pros. I've seen it in the tanks here. It's even way more visually compelling in person than it is on camera. And I'll give it a 10 out of 10. I believe with total certainty that this is producing results in a tank, especially in a tank like this one where it is nutrient poor because there aren't tons of fish and whatever. So if you have a nutrient poor tank that doesn't have a lot of sources of any sources of nitrogen, phosphorus, or protein components, like this is probably one of the easiest ways to help. And all of those corals in there, I would have said in the beginning, were corals that like were not ones that I would have wanted in my tank. And now that I look at them all here, I'm like, these are all awesome. So, you know, in all of the tanks, you know, so it's just a really, really compelling thing.
Yeah, I think all of these corals for this test were borrowed from, we clipped some from the BRS 160, and then we had a couple frags lying around from previous tests and things like that we used, and we just found across the board the same ones. So a lot of them were all in the same tank conditions. They're already used to, you know, being in an aquarium type environment and all this. But yeah, 2 months ago, I wouldn't really want any of these in my tank.
Yep.
And
well, now they're all
the chalices and the stags in particular.
The
for
blue
me,
stag in there.
I want that.
I'm looking at it right now. Let me just pull it out. So so absolutely. So I think we'll answer some questions over here about all of this. And don't forget, man, at the end, like we got, you know, it's 12:20, man. So let's see how many questions we get.
I know.
But at the end of this, man, we're giving away an Apex. We're giving away a Trident. And I'm just gonna leak it out right now. We're definitely gonna come in impromptu on Saturday and Sunday, and just like, hey, man, you got 36 minutes to get something cool.
Yeah. So there's more giveaways coming up, and it's gonna be impromptu. You have to hit the notification bell to even know that we're going live. Unless you're just that in tune on YouTube.
I'm gonna give you one more nerdy element because I've got some complaints. So some people in there are like, hey man, I hit the bell and it like didn't notify me in time. Well, if you're the most nerdy of the bunch, man, and you really, really engage in this, you really want to win a Trident or Apex or something like that, you can go into your settings in YouTube and there's like a little like how the different ways you want to be notified. Also, like downloading the YouTube app will give you like push notifications. That's a way better experience to watch YouTube on your phone anyway. So, you know, so all those different ways, man, so if you get really engaged with it. So let's answer a few of these questions here.
Okay, we got quite a few for aminos here. So let's start with Tristan. Any side effects from dosing the amino acids?
Better results.
That's a good side effect.
No increased algae. In fact, I saw the tissue outcompete the algae, right? So like where the tissue is having a hard time building fast enough to overcome the algae, you're seeing areas where the tissue is now able to outcompete the algae and grow over the skeleton or plug or whatnot. So it's only beneficial.
My concern, just personally, would be so if I'm already having issues with like algae and high phosphates, nitrates, high, battling with, too much protein and nutrition in the tank. Adding amino acids, would that, exacerbate that type of problem, do you think?
Possibly, but I would say if you've got too much protein in the tank already, I probably wouldn't really even bother with this. Right, so this is a lot of people that are probably seeing pale coloration.
Fair.
You're attributing it to not enough protein or nutrients. When I say nutrients, I just hate the fact that it always goes to phosphate and nitrate.
Oh.
Nutrients means all the elements that an organism utilizes to control metabolic health and produce its tissue and reproduce. So protein probably being the number one. So if I say nutrients, man, I really mean like all of it, and probably protein being the most important of the bunch. But if you just are feeding the hell out of your tank, like not so important. One of the ways that they do it though is they make their own fish food, something we're going to do real soon here, and show you guys how to make your own in a real controlled format. Like this is an actual recipe. You add this directly to that, so I don't have to be dosing it daily. I can just put it like right into the food, and when I dose the food, it automatically goes with it.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, next one.
Mark wants to know how often were the aminos dosed to these tanks?
Daily. And so daily, and then we follow the directions on the back precisely.
1 mil per 50 gallons of water for broadcast feeding. Yep.
Yep. So we followed the directions on the back of it precisely, and so it was daily, and we just followed the directions. So I wouldn't do. If you wanted to see the same results that we saw, I would do it exactly the way it was on the bottom.
Right, well, make a bigger bottle. Just saying.
Yeah, that was one of the complaints here, is because we do go through a lot of it here with all of the different tanks. And so, like, Randy came and told me, he's like, hey, dude, they should give us a discount on this stuff because we're burning through it. So, like, they didn't, like, sponsor this, by the way, or anything.
We're pulling it off our shelves, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm like, dude, if you really want me to do this, be aware, I'm going to tell the story whether good or bad. And so I was a little nervous. Like, I don't want to, like, throw anybody under the bus. But so I'm super happy to see the results the way that they did come out.
We just need more, bigger
yeah,
bottles.
I don't know. Like, do us a favor, man. Like, hopefully they sell a few more of these. You can send us a jug, but make a bigger bottle because I think some people would like.
I think some people would do. How long were the corals in these tanks and under this lighting before the 2-month test started? That's a great question.
So I
think we were running this pH test with the same lighting. The lighting schedule hasn't changed. Nothing else has changed for like upwards of 4 months before we even started.
I got a feeling it was
maybe even like 6.
Yeah, so somewhere in between 4 and 6 months. You have to go back to the pH test. So it'll tell you exactly how long it's been up. But like somewhere between 4 and 6 months.
And then at the end of the pH test is when we started this. So the pH video came out like probably a month and a half, or maybe 2 months. Well, obviously, or over 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. So at the end of May, the pH results came out. So
only the real change, man. We added the amino to it. So they're super stable tank.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Quite a while.
Turn it around.
Yeah. So in the tanks for a while.
Next one.
Let's see. Okay, what aminos can I put in my doser? Most need to be refrigerated, right? So, I mean, that's fair. And I think what people like, AcroPower is one that I believe people put on a doser quite often.
Yep.
The only thing about that I've seen with a lot of aminos, and that I've kind of read across forums when I was looking into this before, is a lot of them need to be like stirred before use. So some people will program their I've seen people program their Apex where they have a magnetic stir. 1 minute before the dosing pump kicks on, it kicks on the magnetic stir, then the dosing pump kicks on, and then they use it that way. Some have I've seen people run like tubes and stuff through fridges and things like that, but I don't. As far as this one it says, I don't think it needs to be.
I've seen them degrade the tubing before.
And then, that's another concern.
So, like, whoever's in charge of selling dosing pumps here, man, is going to kick me in the butt when I walk out. But I didn't say don't dose it by manual, or don't buy a dosing pump. Do it manually, man. It's just a couple of drops, right? And I can tell you, when I was dosing the KZ ones to the 160 every day, like, it is kind of the cool part. I just feed the fish and I drop the little drops in, and it gave me a chance to like really check out what's going on in the tank. I mean, like, if you can't give the tank 5 minutes a day of your time, why do you even own it? Like, I mean, it's not that you're giving it. It's like that you get 5 minutes to enjoy it, and feeding is like one of the ways that we interact with it. So either if you want to make it so I don't have to pull out a bunch of drops, or I'm feeding all this food, one of those ways is, again, make that like do-it-yourself fish food.
Right.
Just dump the stuff right into the mix, and then you're dosing aminos right with the rest of the food. But outside of that, it's just put the drops in, man. And like you can put it on a doser, you can get it in a refrigerated one.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure the best ones that if you didn't want to use a refrigerated one. I know that we did do that with the KZ amino acid, so and I can tell you that for sure worked. So we were using a dose to dose the LPS aminos and I think one other one.
Yeah, I forget which one, but yes.
Yeah. So like, but we were dosing like 6 different things in the tank. So there was like 4 that I did by hand, and then the bigger bottles that had to dose like 10 milliliters at a time. We just automated those ones.
So yeah, do you need to refrigerate them? The directions will tell you whether or not they need to be refrigerated.
I'd ask the manufacturer.
Yeah, for
to be
sure.
honest. And I bet you can ask the community to do a quick Google or Reef search or whatnot.
There's a lot of people already using this stuff.
Yeah.
Between the Brightwell and all the other ones that are available out there, there's a group of people, if not a large group, some larger groups than others, that are using the amino acids.
The one thing I will tell you about this one specifically, even Brightwell sells a variety of different aminos. This one is super concentrated. So like, I can't really speak to the results for all of them because we haven't done the experiment this way. This is the only one, I guess, right now. Hopefully we'll do some other experiments and be able to tell you definitively. I mean, the KZ ones felt like they were doing it because we were producing results.
Right.
Produced a really awesome tank in a really low nutrient environment, and so certainly was producing results, the mix of what we're doing.
True.
This is the only one where we actually done almost no changes to the tank at all that I can think of, and then added and all of a sudden saw results. So the concentration seems to be right. Followed the instructions seem to produce the results that we're looking for.
Yeah. I was just looking at the comments here on the left of, there's
James.
$5 from Steven.
Same for $1.99
And $1.99 from James.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks,
There's
guys.
$5 from Steven as well.
He says you guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you much. Hey, so
You guys
we're
are
going
awesome.
to.
We had a question the other day of where that money goes. Somebody said, I donated $5 to you this weekend. Where does it go?
Okay, so here's the deal. I have the best of intentions to take the guys out, get them some coffee or whatever, and then I don't always do it. But I'm bringing out both you and Nick to the wrap this weekend. Round of beers. I mean, I pay for the beers anyway, but special beers this time. We're going to find out whatever the most top shelf thing is, and it's going to be on you guys. So thank you very much, James and Steven there.
All right, so what else we got here for questions? Lots of amino questions, good stuff. John Sorkness wants to know, do you dose at night, day, or during feedings?
Yeah, that's a good question. Aaron, did you dose it during the day, night, or when do you do it?
During the day.
During the day.
During the day.
So
well, I mean,
during
we're
the-
here in the day. It's not like we live in the office, some
Is there a
more than
specific
others.
time or just kind of throughout the day?
It's roughly 10 o'clock, give or take.
About 10
Roughly
o'clock
10
in the morning.
o'clock, so probably like right before the lights came on. And that's getting nutrients, I mean, I don't know if it was intended this way, but it gets nutrients in there right before the lights come on, so that providing energy to be able to like start doing the metabolic process.
You know, I've always seen every time I went to my tank when it was dark, whether it be in the morning or night, that's when it seems like all the polyps are out. All the feeding responses are out, everything's out there.
So at night, the polyps are out in the wild because that's when all the plankton and stuff comes out, and so they're trained to like capture all the prey at night, right?
Right.
In the tank, it's often the opposite because we feed during the day, right?
Right.
And so one of the things is you're actually training those polyps to like come out during the day when
Fair.
the light's on often. So, you know, it could be either way. But like whether or not how they're capturing it when and how do they utilize it. You know, are the polyps actually the mechanism as which is pulling in the amino
or
acids?
the tissue.
Yeah. Does it just, you know, go through the tissue?
Huh. All right, cool. JK1 wants to know.
Robert, $5. Thank you very much as well.
Bearded
I
Leprechaun.
don't know, before you know it, you're gonna get something real special.
Yeah, that was Robert says this is better than Red Sea Nutrition Kit, and then
I wouldn't. I can't claim that in any way.
maybe we'll do a test. You know, comparing different amino acids down the road. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. I really like it. I personally don't like doing this guy against that guy against that guy because I mean I take what we do here really responsibly, and so if something were to go wrong with that test and it looked like, you know, one of these was way better than the other one, that's a lot of weight, man, because there's a lot of people watching this stuff.
Yeah.
So what I try to do to the best of my ability is not test all 15 things against each other.
True.
In most cases, it's, you know, nothing versus using it.
Okay.
Does using it produce results, right? And then we can actually go and do, you know, Red Seas too. Nothing versus using Red
True.
Seas. and you can infer the results on your own, but like I think that's a little bit more fair way to go about it. And I know other people might have different opinions, but that's just the way I feel is the most responsible way to everybody involved.
Cool. Hit these super chats real quick.
Bam,
we got
pop it up.
Bearded Leprechaun, $2 for those special beers, he says. Thank you. Inkbuster Tattoo, $1.99.
Look at that.
Robert
$4.20.
Robert Collins gave us $5 from Robert, and then Thomas gave us $4.20 for the best beer.
There you go.
Awesome.
Dude, you're.
I'm gonna get wasted at rap.
Maybe a total wreck. The poor guy will be up there talking to everybody.
And then I got to work all day.
All
right, let's answer some amino acid questions. Don't forget, at the end, we're gonna let you know how you can win, and we're gonna go
Trident. Can't even buy them.
Trident and a Neptune Apex, so you can use the Trident.
All right, man.
Awesome.
All right.
I like JK1. Is there any way to monitor those amino acids? Like, how can you check that those levels and is too much okay?
This is one of those things I think you really need to trust the manufacturer on.
Yeah.
So they've done the tests and whatever, and then you have to take that and apply it to yourself. Like, you know what? I know I have about 5 times the coral density as every other human being on the planet,
Right.
so I'm gonna up the game a little bit. I know that I feed way less, so I'm gonna up the game a little bit. I know that I feed a lot and I have very few corals, so I'm gonna scale it down.
Yes.
So you're gonna have to, I would start with the manufacturer's recommendation, start with the manufacturer you feel like is worthy of your trust, and go from there.
And for me, if I was going to start anything like that, one, pick an amino acid like you said, and then start dosing it based on the manufacturer's instructions. But personally, I give everything at least a month before I make any other decisions. So I'm not going to start dosing this, to my tank and then like 2 weeks later go, it's not working, I need to add more to it. I'm going to do this for about a month, maybe even 2 months to see if it's actually doing anything. I mean,
take some pictures too.
Yeah, do some befores and afters like we showed. And then at 2 months, come back and reevaluate and go, okay, maybe I could add more because it's not, producing the result, or maybe I need to back off because I'm having issues with maybe some, too much protein and stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to call this out actually. So I've talked about this with Jeremy before, and the reason I'm going to say it is because I feel like 99% chance he's going to do this.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so I've talked to him about before, like this is brave stuff, right? And in the hashtag BRStv group, there's a lot of people that are willing to try stuff. So I asked him, man, like, hey, you willing to give out like 50 bottles to people in the group and let them share their before and after photos?
Fair.
So like anecdotal's one thing, what everybody gets in their own experience.
Right.
And then there's like kind of like a controlled anecdotal. Right. Like, hey, there's 50 people that started this first time. They're willing to post the pictures first, and they're willing to show them after. Like, if you're willing to give that to them, I think the community, if you deliver on your promises, will like, A, appreciate it, and B, man, that's like the best advertising you can get is positive results, right?
Yeah, the best way to elbow Jeremy to do that at Brightwell is comment down below at the end like that you want to see Jeremy.
So if you want to see that, man, say it in the comments like, hey, dude, I would love to test this stuff out, and I'm willing to actually post the before and after photos. I don't know. I put him on the hook now. I feel bad, but I don't know. I think you'd like to do it. So try that out.
Sweet. Oh wow. So a few more of these that are coming in. We just want to hit them real quick, but because you guys are awesome. Justin Martin, $10 or $9.99 for you guys being awesome. Bar News is thank you for $2. Jeremy H $2. I know. Just because I want my name to be heard, he says. Jeremy H got in there for $2. Vincent Evans, your videos are a godsend. So hey, thanks for $2. Joseph gave us $1. Cool, thanks. And then great tip on adding aminos at the lights on cold brew.
I like that. So there was a question here from Will, the second one from the top. Will dosing amino acids increase calcium alkalinity and magnesium consumption? Need to increase water changes? So I don't think you'll need to increase water changes unless you're dosing too much.
Okay.
But
coral uptake will be primarily where that goes, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think amino acids would be considered energy in this case, which would allow the coral maybe to uptake calcium alkalinity, but I don't know. But here's one of the things, man, I can tell you right now is we've done, a dozen of these experiments on growth around the place and different things. And I can tell you right now, the way that we do it is measure like the weight of the coral before and after. But what I've learned now is I can tell you before they even do that whether or not this worked. I can tell you like in real time because the tank consumes more calcium and alkalinity.
It's undeniable. Like when we looked at when I did the alkalinity elevated levels versus lower levels, and you look at the consumption rates of how many mils of each one was being dosed, you can clearly see a difference, like 50% more here versus 50% less here. And then we went and looked at the flow tanks and watch for tomorrow's video.
We're not going to give away the results.
Not going to give the results tomorrow, but tomorrow we're going to review what the flow test tanks did.
Yeah, so we had double, triple, and quadruple flow. Which one produces the most growth.
And you'll probably see something there too.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be surprised. And I'm going to tell you, like, I could tell you before they weighed it for sure whether or not the growth, which is only calcium and alkalinity. And so, I mean, I guess it's going to sound like a plug for this thing we're giving away, but like the Trident here gives you that real time. It's giving you multiple times a day of what the calcium and alkalinity level is of your tank. And you will, if it is increasing, you will know it's because you're doing something right for the tank. And I'm not sure if Aminos, but those of you that use Tridents, man, would be super, super, super good candidates for testing this kind of thing. If you dose this, does it increase calcium alkalinity? Because if it does, home run. I know, like another data point on this thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it will though. I know it'll grow tissue. Will it provide energy for the rest of it? I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing would be to like take a look at your tank consumption for like 2 months before you start Aminos. Dose Aminos for 2 months and take a look at your tank consumption at the same time. Not accounting like putting in new corals and making changes, but like just let your tank go autopilot for like 4 months, two months with Aminos, 2 months without Aminos, and see if the Trident can like show a trend.
So what I'll say is, in the beginning, the very first time I noticed this, it was we raised the pH of the tank using those CO2 beads, right, the scrubber beads, and all of a sudden I had to change the 160's calcium uptake like 50%. And so the immediate conversation is like, did we just increase calcium alkalinity consumption 50%? Like the corals are going to grow 50% faster?
Well, we can't see.
Or is there like precipitation somewhere, right? And so you don't know that question, right? But I don't see precipitation on anything where you would think so.
So it's got to go somewhere.
And then, like we did, I changed the lighting schedule, and all of a sudden we saw 30% more calcium and alkalinity consumption, right? So lo and behold, we go from 8 hours to 12 hours and providing more energy. The coral that consumes more calcium and alkalinity makes total sense, right? And this one doesn't have a real reason as to like, is it precipitation or whatnot, right? Then we saw the same thing, elevated elements. The elevated elements where we make specifically carbonate or bicarbonate more available. All of a sudden, calcium and alkalinity consumption is way up. You could say precipitation, but I'm done with that story because it hasn't materialized that way anywhere. So all of the things that we have done where the calcium and alkalinity consumption went way up, it showed itself as measurable growth, measurable by weight and visual assessment of the size of the coral. So like, I'm going to tell you for sure in real time now, like if I can just look at calcium and alkalinity consumption goes up, I did something beneficial to the tank. Now there are probably some weird scenarios where that isn't true, but like that is going to be now the outlier for me. I'm going to measure that is going to be the most real-time success, and that's probably why this thing is going to just continue to blow up, and some of the other ones that are out there that are like it. But like if I can measure alkalinity consumption in real time, I'm measuring whether what I'm doing is working. If I crank up the lights and the calcium and alkalinity consumption goes down, it's telling the corals are telling you that this is, or I should say the calcium alkalinity goes up, meaning it's consuming less. That is meaning, hey dude, you just did something bad. Right?
Yeah.
So like really pay attention to that. So I'm excited. I don't know how it relates to the coral aminos like you asked, but hopefully we'll find out.
I mean, in the end, when people say I keep dosing more and more alkalinity and calcium to my tank, I can't get it to rise, it's probably a good problem to have in most cases if it's not precipitate. So hey,
there's a whole slew of people like giving money. We can't call them all out.
I know.
But, so thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. And I think we'll have steak dinner this weekend.
But in a couple minutes, we're gonna give away the Trident and the Apex EL. So about 20 minutes. So stay tuned for that one. I mean, there is a $20.
Oh man, $20.
So
we got colored.
Brian Bench.
Oh, thank you very much.
$20. Appreciate you. All right, more Amino questions. Can you start a dosing as soon as the first coral is in? Or would you wait until it's heavily stocked?
I would not. like in general, I would not use coral foods when there's only one coral in there because you're kind of what you're doing when you dump those foods in there is you're polluting the tank, right? You're just like broadcasting pollutant in the tank. When you have a lot of corals uptake it, they just kind of remove the pollutants for you, right? Yeah. You got one little measly coral in the corner. That is probably where it's better off to shut off the pumps and use some kind of targeted, like reef chili comes in a little bottle, that has all kinds of different foods in it. You can like, just kind of squirt it right around it. And kind of upstream of it, let it kind of go over towards it. Yeah. So if you have one coral, that is probably the way to do it. But really, one of the best ways is just have a bunch of fish and feed them. And between the food breaking down and the poo,
fish waste,
you're adding a lot of nutrient and for the tank.
Cool. If you manually dose, but then go on a 2-week vacation, would you come back to starving or dying corals?
So I would say that I wouldn't worry about it that way because if you weren't doing it to begin with, they were starving all the time. So most organisms on the planet have the ability to store energy and will kind of ebb and flow with the availability of food and energy. Right. So like, there's almost no chance that you're going to come back after not dosing this stuff for 2 weeks and like, catastrophic event. Tanks like stability, so if there was a way to make maybe set up your auto feeder to feed a little extra food or something in the interim, but I wouldn't say doing something awesome is a reason to not, and then when you take it away, there's like a little step back, because then you're just saying, well, for the rest of the year, I'm not going to have any of the best benefits of doing something awesome. Yeah. Right, so like, I wouldn't think about it that way.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good one. Are aminos good for our fish and our inverts too? Wars on the Earth.
For the inverts too, like that's a good question. I don't know the answer, so I can't give you a. I wouldn't even venture to be able to answer.
No,
that.
I mean, yeah. Maybe inverts could uptake it with their small mouth. I don't know if fish like osmosisly through their skin or gills.
This is what I give you. If you really want to stretch for this, I'd just say probably I wouldn't think about it that way. But if you were making like your own do-it-yourself fish food and whatever, like
combined into the food.
Yeah. So imagine I took a dry pellet and then I put it in the tank. It's just gonna soak up salt water. If I took a dry pellet and I soaked it in amino acids first and put it in there, now the nutrient, it's not gonna soak up the water. It's gonna be way, way, way more nutritive. And so, the snail finds that food, which they do. They're the cleanup crew for a reason. Yeah. Now it's probably going to be more beneficial to its health when it finds that food. I would say it's also probably likely. We talk a lot about fish waste as a source of energy for the corals. It's because it breaks up into small little particles, and fish's digestive system is like really poor. So like a lot of the carbohydrates and proteins from the food actually make its way out through the fish. So I'd say like a majority of it actually. So that's why better nutritive foods will result in better nutritive poop.
True. Okay. Let's see. We've got a few here done. Jasper, when adding it, do you have to put it in a high flow area?
I don't think I won't be able to venture to say that there is a best way to do it.
Well, I mean, so for example, on this one, the Coral Amino from Brightwell says, like, turn off your skimmer and things like that. So there are steps in a lot of the amino acids. I think some of the steps are the same. It's like the skimmer could potentially pull it out. So why dose something that you're going to pull right back out? So some of them say to turn off your skimmer. So I used to feed like Reef Energy A and B from Red Sea, and for that one I would turn off my return pump. I'd keep my power heads going. Turn off my return pump, so then essentially nothing's getting down to the filtration, so I don't really have to worry about my skimmer, but the skimmer goes off anyway. But then dose it to the tank, wait about 15 minutes, and then kick everything back on.
So for me, I tend to not do all that, and I just use a little extra more because I don't want to mess around with turning my skimmers and stuff off unless I got like feed mode or whatever on the tank and make it really easy, because I don't remember to come turn it back on.
Right.
You know, so if I use feed mode for sure, but otherwise I don't. I just feed extra more. So the skimmer's not going to like ruin it. It's just going to remove it, you know, faster than you know it would normally. So. You know, it's kind of up to you.
Yeah.
I know some people will actually dose in pretty high concentration, so they'll even find like a, you know, cut off a 2-liter cup, you know, and put it over the coral like a dome, and you know, I mean, there's super high concentrations. I can't tell you, I haven't done that myself.
I've seen a lot of people do that for like NPS, non-photosynthetic.
Yeah,
corals and
if you're
stuff.
feeding really hard to feed corals like that, man, and you don't want to pollute the tank, that's a great way.
Or and not in the same breath, not allow the fish and other things to attack all that food. Shrimp love to go on my corals if I target feed them, so keep them away.
So we're almost there, man. 360 minutes in just a second to be
see.
able to win a Trident and Apex.
I see tons of questions. How do I enter? How do I get in? How do I get the Apex and the Trident?
Oh, that's coming in just a
We're
minute.
gonna tell you.
We're gonna tell you, you know, like I'd say about 8 minutes or so. I'm gonna tell you how to do it.
Okay.
We'll hit that in just a second. So
Okay.
a couple more.
Couple more amino questions while we wait. So down here I see Charles. Would it work to put aminos in my ATO water?
I don't know. They probably break down, man. Like once you pull it out of here, it probably starts to break down. If it gets exposed to bacteria or whatnot, they'll populate on it. I probably wouldn't do that.
No.
So again, like I would just say, if you don't have about 60 seconds to enjoy your tank every day, like I don't know, you know, I don't know why you enjoy it.
Okay.
Take it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd just say, you know, dose it or mix in some food or whatever. There are dosing pumps and options out there, so I'd research those as well.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Dale McCreary wants to know what is the time frame between the before and the after. So for our purposes, and this gives us a chance to go back and look at them again.
Yeah, let's go through them one more time.
For our
before the people
purposes,
miss it.
Dale, these were 2 months. So you can see in coral number 1 that we have. Hey, Carlos, can you hit coral number 1?
Yeah, we'll just go through them real quick here again, since we already kind of went through it. But it's like
So we're just gonna go
2 months
back through them. 2 months between all of these. So there's the before and after this chalice. There's another chalice with green polyps out there. You got this digitata that's a little more orange, crazy polyp
tissue's
extension.
way tissue polyp healthy.
Then you've got the bird's nest that has more
all
color.
way better coloration.
This is my favorite one.
Yeah, this is the most obvious of the bunch for sure. I just saw that in the tank. I'm gonna take it out and put it in another tank. Absolutely. All the coloration is better. So,
and polyps in that one. So 2 months on that one, and that's dosing every day following the coral amino from Brightwell's dosing instructions. That's kind of what we had. So.
I gotta tell you that I think this fit the criteria that we're gonna probably put the BRS recommended badge on it. Just based on our experience, this is what I would definitely recommend this to other people.
For sure. A couple more questions, and then we'll give some stuff away. Is there we've already answered that one. Let's see. We answered that one. Are the aminos?
What about NO3 and PO4 after dosing amino acids? So overfeeding anything will produce additional nitrogen and phosphorus in the tank. So I'd just say don't overfeed it, and you'll know because those things are rising.
Yeah.
I'd say healthy tissue, faster growth of the coral actually uptakes nitrogen and phosphorus faster. So if you're seeing those rise because of whatever you're dosing, doesn't matter what it is, you're dosing too much.
Yep. Nathan at the let's see.
Oh, look at that, man.
Just
25
a
bucks.
part.
That's the biggest of the day. This is like the biggest money earning day I've ever seen.
We're
on
calling
YouTube.
people out for
so
it.
thank you very much. All of your support.
Everybody's
Everybody's love. And like, I just really appreciate, like, I just watching is really enough, man. But that stuff like that is super, super awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Will amino acids dosing be good for Copepods? Justin Williams wants to know.
I wouldn't do it for that purpose.
Okay.
There's a bunch of ancillary reasons as to why that could help that, but I wouldn't do it for that purpose.
I do it for this purpose, and that's
Yep.
what we saw. The corals looking better. I like this other one down below him at Thomas's. Will running UV break down the amino acids?
Ozone probably would. UV tends to, some UV bulbs off a little ozone. Maybe.
I mean, if the directions are for me to shut off my skimmer when dosing this, why not shut off my UV
Could
too?
it break down? Could the UV break down the aminos to some
Significantly?
degree? I don't know, possibly. I'd just say monitor your results, right? So if you're not getting the results, you want to consider it. All right. Okay. And so I think that let's look. So we're going to transition a little bit into what the prize is going to be here today. So we got 9 minutes to go, right? And maybe we'll go a couple of minutes early here.
Okay.
And so we got the Trident. We also have our Apex EL here to run the Trident. We're giving that away. And again, I'm just going to go through it super fast. We're doing a brand new video or a whole series of videos in my tank at my house. And as part of this is just making sure everybody's notified. So hit the bell. And the bell thing tells you about all the prizes we're doing, tells you about all the lives we're doing, tells you about like everything we're doing. So go ahead and hit it.
Especially leading up to and after the BRS 360 gets underway. Like, you won't know when we're doing it until you get a notification, because it could be anytime.
So I'll tell you this actually. Behind the scenes, I got this idea. Just kind of pulled it out of thin air. Like I thought this would be fun. Behind the scenes, I was talking to the marketing director Jeff here, and he's like, "Man, what you guys are doing is cool. So like maybe we'll just continue it going on." Right?
Oh yeah.
And so the more people that hit the bell, the more likely I think that he's just going to keep doing fun,
random lives,
finding ways to tell the bean counters that hey, find a way to give out this $1,000 worth of stuff because it's producing results somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. So from the sounds of it, if you guys want to know when we go live, you guys will want to know when we go live, which could be anytime. It's going to be twice this weekend, right? While we're at Reefapalooza,
both Saturday
California.
and Sunday for sure.
So we've got like 6 more of these giveaway type things. Today is the Trident Apex combo, and we're going to tell you how to get signed up just a second.
All right, man. We got about 7 minutes.
There's a couple people saying the bell rung, presses the bell. The bell? Yeah.
Yep,
So if you're
there
if you're watching on YouTube. And this is all in YouTube, and so you're watching the video. You see the little subscribe button, and then down a little right next to it should be a little bell, and it's got a little bell icon. Click that thing, and it will tell you.
It's funny. I was talking to somebody about it today. Like, well, what was the subscribe button for? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Honest, like,
it shows, so for me in my own personal ones, I watch like fishing and outdoor videos and all this other stuff. Is if I don't want to get lost in all of the videos that are cats and all kinds of things on YouTube, I can go to my subscription feed, and then everybody that I've subscribed to, all of their videos are there in my thing. So it's all just my subscriptions. So I don't get to see anybody else. But if I really care about one person, like I love this guy that does this fishing show, and if I really want to know about him all the time, and whenever he comes out with new ones, which there's a couple of them that I do, then I hit the notification bell, so that way anytime his videos come out or our videos come out, right away, and I will go watch his content immediately.
I can totally understand, because honestly, you go into YouTube, you subscribe to 50 people. If I got all of their notifications, my phone would blow it up. It'd be going crazy, right? So this is just a way for YouTube to say, hey man, I actually really like this, and I'd like to see more of it. And even then, YouTube's smart, man. So even if you hit the bell, like if I don't watch it, it just kind of slowly attritions out. Like, it just kind of bumps the best stuff up to the top, right? Like, oh, you know what? YouTube's so smart. So even if it's like, oh, this content wasn't everybody's favorite, I'm not going to bother telling Jerry about this one. But this one, man, everybody watched the whole thing, knocked it out of the park. Let's tell Jerry about that one. So YouTube's super smart, the algorithm that it has. So I don't know. Cool.
So yeah, the only way I can get notified about my favorite fishing channels is to hit the bell, and I really like it when they do. So
5 minutes to Triton and Neptune giveaway. What is this, like a $1,100 giveaway?
This is
You got 360 minutes to win.
300. So when we release how to get signed up, you're gonna have 360 minutes. So right at 6 hours. So if you're watching this after it's live right now, there's still time. Go follow the whatever we're gonna say in just a couple minutes.
So when are you gonna find out who won?
So
I'm gonna tell you right now. We're gonna tell you on Saturday, right? So on Saturday when we go live, mysterious time.
Anytime.
Yep.
We're gonna be in California too.
Telling you like who won the Apex Trident and the Apex. So
yeah,
that'll be fun. And then whatever we're doing that day.
So this is a ridiculous giveaway, like I see here in the comment section. But there's more to come too. We've got more than just this. It's not just this. So
I think one of them we're giving out $100 to 20 people.
And then we're giving like $1,000 shopping spree to one person. We've got some I've seen in our notes. I've seen 70% discounts, 80% discounts.
And certain things.
I've seen some certain things out there.
I know. I saw 70 day actually scratch it out, turned it to 80. I'm like,
Did you? So lots of cool stuff happening, and the only way to find out, because we're just going to go live whenever we feel like it, is to hit the notification bell.
Like 4 minutes.
All right.
I mean, this is a long, like 10 minutes.
We're like, this is a pause.
Is there one more question we can answer while we hit that 4 minutes?
There probably is. There's probably a couple of them. So, should talk about the side effects of dosing amino acid. Dosing increases phosphates. How are you dosing aminos? There's a few of them that we hit already if you just kind of go back. But do you mix amino with phyto?
Oh, that's interesting.
H2NaCl.
I wonder if the phyto would actually consume it, to be honest.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. So, phyto's been one of those things that I guess I'd like to test myself, because it's like very, very select organisms actually consume phyto, but it's also like the base of a food chain.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. That's a totally different topic. I don't think I'd mix them together unless I was actually trying to like feed the phyto.
Right.
You know, I don't think I'd mix them together.
Cool. 3 more minutes, guys, and we're giving stuff away.
I don't know.
Let's see, we answered that one. Oh,
Tell your
Brandon.
marketing director that your videos just got me back into reefing and ordering items. I will tell them that. Actually, the marketing guy, I'm going to go tell the bean counters. So Bob, I'm coming to your office and I'm going to paste this on your wall. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Like, you know, it's hard to connect, man. We spend a lot of time and resources in this, but like, there's no real way to say like, hey, this is actually producing a result other than it just feels right. Cool. So luckily I got a lot of sway here. But yeah, it's hard. So that feedback there is super awesome. I can share that with people.
Risky biscuits. Do you have to be watching in order to win on Saturday?
Yeah, you have to know that it's coming, man. So like one of them's gonna be 36 minutes long.
If it's you and it's on,
do you have to be watching the Apex? No, we'll just announce it.
We're gonna announce it.
You don't have to be watching then to win.
You don't have to, but if you want to know right away if you're the winner or not, rather than just sit there and wait until
maybe your Facebook friends tell you.
Could be.
Said.
I saw you. You win. Yeah.
No. You do not have to be present. All you gotta do is sign up here in 2 minutes, right? So here's how you're gonna sign up.
All right.
Right.
Here
you're gonna go to a page.
Here goes, guys. Drum roll.
Okay. So you're gonna go to a page on our website, and it's just gonna say sign up and fill out the little thing, and we'll close this thing down at 7 o'clock Central today. 7 o'clock Central, we're closing it down. You won't be able to enter anymore. So if you go there after 7 and you see it, I'm sorry, you were too late. You should have hit the bell. And this one was actually like 6 hours long. 7 if you include the past hour. So that's a pretty good amount of time for notification of a prize like this. So sorry for you that missed out. But those of you that are like really super engaged and jumping in, you got 7 hours to hit it. And you just got to go to this page and fill it out. And
what's the page?
What is the page? It says 1259 right there. So
I think I've got it. I sat on it a little bit.
There it is, man.
It's bulkreefsupply.com/hit that bell. You don't have to put the hyphens in hit the bell if you want to. It could be all one word, hit that bell. You could type in the dashes if you want to, but
hopefully Adam's watching and he'll just put a link in there for you too. If not, we'll hit the link.
Yeah, Nick and Adam are watching, so they can go to bulkreefsupply.com/hit that bell. They'll post it in here. At the end of this video, I'm going to post it in the description below. So if you're not finding it, you'll find it in the description of this YouTube video. I'll also put it at the end in a link somewhere up here when we're done. We're going to put that link there too.
Yeah, put the link in. Yep. So right here.
Y'all got to wait until we finish this live stream, and right about here, there's going to be a link to go there. Otherwise, do it now. Run over to bulkreefsupply.com/hit that bell. Enter the information. You have 6 hours from right now. Right now, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time. 6 hours from now, we close this thing down. You won't find the site anymore. So you need to go to the site now, and then hit the notification bell down below, so that way tomorrow when we announce the winner you can know. And then tomorrow we're giving away something else.
Tomorrow's Friday. It's the day after.
Oh, Saturday.
Yep.
Saturday we'll tell you, but we'll know when we're going live. So hit the notification bell so that way you get instantly notified when Bulk Reef Supply is live. and you'll find out who the winner is. And we're giving more stuff away too.
And for those of you that don't know, Reefapalooza is this weekend.
Oh,
and
yeah.
at Reefapalooza, like we're going crazy here. So this is what we're gonna do at Reefapalooza, and you should. So it's in California, it's in Florida, it's in Chicago now, it's in New York, and we also go to MACNA. And this is some of the stuff that we've been doing recently. So at this one, we're gonna give away 2,000 shirts, right?
Yeah.
So if you're 2,000 people that come and see us, man, we're giving away a shirt. We're also giving away $2,500 shopping spree for bulk resupply every single, or each one of those days. So there's 2 of them, 2 chances to win. We're also giving 2,000 $25 gift certificates to everybody.
Woo.
That's like $50,000 worth of gift certificates.
I've got tons of cards, and they're gift certificates with unique numbers on them that says, here's $25. Here's $25. We got tons of them.
I mean, I can't believe that Bob approved that one. I don't know.
Pretty cool.
So the pitch here is to Bob's like, I only think like maybe 10% will use them.
Yeah.
So, like prove them wrong. I don't know. Or don't and save my money. But so we're giving out $2,025 gift certificates. If you go with your spouse, man, it means you come with $50.
And then I've got stickers, tattoos, all kinds of fun stuff to kind of give away. And then, you know, best of all, you get to come talk reefing with that guy.
Oh, well, or you. So in that spirit, also, it's not just the people that go to Reefapalooza, LA in this case this weekend, but we're also going to give away stuff to you guys, the YouTube people that are out there, you know, buying us coffee and stuff. But we're also giving away stuff that weekend through this whole Hit That Bell promotion.
Yeah.
So, like, look out, and I'll give you, like, a little tip. Rainy and I will be super busy between the hours of 11 and 6 at the show.
11 and 6
So you can just
Pacific
kinda
time.
Yeah, Pacific time. So you can just skip the idea that we're going to do it during there.
I'm not doing
probably
live
in the
then.
morning or in the evening. I don't know which one. So, but you know, hit the bell to find out.
So the website's right here in the comments section from Bulk Resupply. Nick posted it up there. Right now it's saying the fields are first name. Enter your first name, last name, so we know who you are. But go to Hit That Bell. It closes in 6 hours, people. Less than 6 hours now. We're going to close this down in about 5 hours and 57 minutes. So if you're watching right now, if you're watching after the show, after the live stream, you got time.
I'm going to wrap this up. This is where this little link's going to be here soon. If you're watching this later, also put it in the comments. We'll pin it in the comments. We'll pin it in the description.
Yep.
So you should be able to find it. But it is just bulk resupply / Hit That Bell. And great congratulations to whoever wins. I'm super excited for you.
We'll find out Saturday.
We'll see you all in Reefapalooza, California.
See you guys.